Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, The School of Love. My name is Maria and I'm helping people discover their inner potential for love towards oneself and towards the others. Today I am welcoming you to a new episode from the series What I Wish I Knew When I Was Younger. This is a series in which I address various topics and I divide them into 5 levels of a healing process. In today's episode, I will talk about the mechanisms of how detachment from outcome works. So I will start with the definition of this phenomenon of detachment from outcome, and then I will explain the 5 steps, which are very, very simple once you know them. And because I think it is a very important topic, it's something which can make or break a human life. And it's not only about your own life, it's also about the lives of those around you, particularly of those whom you love and who also love you in return or not. Yeah. So what does mean detachment from outcome? Detachment from outcome refers to that mental emotional state in which you do things for their own sake and not for what they might bring you to, or from the end goal of pursuing those very things. So detachment from outcome refers to a mental emotional state in which you are simply being and enjoying being alive and feeling grateful for being alive. You do not cling to a specific goal. You do not think for a specific outcome. This doesn't mean to live in a sense of lack of orientation, sense of desolation, sense of of nihilism, where you don't know towards what you're going. It refers to, so you actually know very well what you want and what you're going to do. You just do not cling to that outcome. You don't think in terms of, if this does not happen, I'm gonna die. You don't think in terms of, if that person does not love me back, I'm gonna be unhappy for the rest of my life, if I have a life at all. If I do not get this job, I'm gonna die. If my partner does not call me back immediately, I'm feeling depleted. If they do not publish this paper, if that specific journal doesn't publish this specific paper, then my life is over. This means not to attach to a specific outcome and to detach from that outcome. The moment you try to control the outcome, it is the moment you limit your potential and your possibilities. Trusting the universe, trusting that life has something amazing for you in store, means doing your best every single moment and moving forward every single moment, regardless if you're running or if you're just crawling, or if you're just having a very sound, very healthy, very restorative sleep. Yeah, this is still moving forward. Not moving forward means something like thinking and staying in your head and not allowing your subconscious to work and to unfold. Means being bitter because life does not happen the way you would like it to happen. Allow life to unfold in its own rhythm, in its own temperature, in its own plenitude, and do not cling to a specific procedure. Because the moment you cling to something is the moment you try to control the world and life, generally speaking. And that's the moment where you're not only limited, but you take yourself, your own experience, which is very limited. You only have lived so many years on this earth. You take your own very limited experience and believe that's the only way things can go, and that's not true. So the way I I define detachment from outcome is that you move forward. You take care not to move forward in the wrong direction, but you move forward and you allow goals and pathways in front of you to unfold, because they do unfold. And they unfold, if you allow them to unfold freely, they unfold in ways you've never thought of possible before. I know this from experience. Maybe I should make a series on stories of my life when I get a little bit more into depth, into detail about my past, where I show myself more vulnerable and I can express things which I actually keep hidden. I have been keeping hidden so far. So detachment from outcome is moving forward without clinging to a specific goal, to a specific vision of how your life should be, how the world should grow around you or disappear around you, how the people around you should be, should react, should love you. And this is detachment from outcome. And how to attain this mental, emotional space, inner space, where you detach, you let go. Yeah? So the first step is, as always, awareness. Becoming aware that you're trying to control the others. You're trying to control your life. You're trying to control your world, your family, your friends, your kids, your partner, so that they do things the way you think is accurate. And this is a very big mistake. Trying to control others, trying to control the outcome, trying to control how someone loves you, trying to control how your boss sees you, how your co-workers see you. That's really the surest way to make them hate you, or in best case scenario, to just ignore you. Yeah? So become aware of these controlling tendencies or controlling movements. And 95% of any such healing process is becoming aware of it. Asking yourself such questions like, why have I said that one? Do I really mean it? Do I really mean it when I tell my partner, for instance, if you love me, you do this or that? Or the kids. Do you really mean it when you tell your children, if you really care about me? Or you do this, or I've done so much for you, why can't you just do this one for me? Oh my God. If I had a cent for every time I've heard this, told to myself and told to others, I'd be a billionaire by now. So become aware. Why am I saying this? Because I'm trying to get a reaction from them. I'm trying to make them react to me in a specific way, and if they don't, then you feel betrayed. You feel betrayed by their lack of reactionary moves and by your own inability to create that very specific reaction, to trigger that very specific reaction, which brings me to number 2, which is identify the trigger. Why? Ask yourself such a question. Why am I glued to that outcome? Which usually means that outcome is which usually means a person, an object, an activity, which is at the same time attractive and toxic. So why do I want it my way or that way? Where is the attraction? Where is the toxicity? And why do I perceive them as such? And why can't I just let go and soothe myself and then move on with it? Why do I attach myself to something I actually cannot control, which is those around me, life around me, life the way it unfolds? And honestly, we cannot even control our own bodies up to a certain degree, unless to a certain degree. We're actually at mercy of so many things, and still lives go on. So it's very important to keep that in mind. Identify the trigger, and then at the same time identify the payoff. What's the reward? What do you get from sitting with that outcome, from gluing to that outcome. What do you'll get something, a sense of righteousness. I know how I deserve to be loved. Why don't they love me that way? I know how I deserve to be treated at work. Why don't they treat me that way? I know the money I deserve. Why don't they give me that money? Yeah, and you feel sort of righteous, self-righteousness. You feel entitled to a specific treatment, to a specific attitude, which again, it's actually only in your mind. But identify that payoff, identify the trigger, identify the payoff, and then find a healthy way to deal with triggers. Such proactively looking at the memory, the place, the present, whatever, instead of running away from it. Because usually, for instance, when we expect a specific reaction from those around us, we can deal with it more positively. Instead of thinking, I want you to treat me that way, we could simply behave in a way which automatically, naturally, organically triggers a more respectful behavior, reaction, response in others. Instead of telling them, if you really love me, you do this for me, you just say, look, I would like you to do this. Well, if you don't want to, I'm perfectly fine with this. And be fine with it. So be upfront, be honest about what you want. And if the other person doesn't give that to you, it is still their freedom to say no. Be very fine with it. Let's say you want to go for a walk with your partner, and instead of saying, if you really love me, you would go for a walk with me, you say, look, I would really appreciate if you go for a walk with me. But I understand that you're tired or that you simply don't feel like it, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I'll go alone. And maybe some other time we can schedule some time to go together for a walk. Or let's say with your employee, your boss, instead of saying, if you really appreciate my work, you would give me a rise, you simply go and say, I think, so from my perspective, I've done a lot of work for this institution and I would like a rise. And if that's not possible at the moment, please tell me what I could do to get that. Or please give me some feedback so that I can improve my labor performance. So what I mean is, find a healthy way to address the trigger so that you do not deny the payoff, do not repress the payoff, but face it. You feel you have a right, you feel entitled to something, but instead of feeling entitled to it, see how other people are seeing it. And then suddenly you're not attached to a specific goal, to a specific amount of money, to a specific gesture of tenderness, to a specific activity or action. You just express what you feel, and you're perfectly fine if the other party, the other person, the other institution, whatever, does not respond the way you would like to. And last but not least, it is very important to keep in mind that gratitude, expressing gratitude for having that very experience is very important. It is difficult. Some people would say it's difficult to express gratitude for something frustrating or for something difficult in your life. But once you have overcome that difficulty, once you have overcome that frustration, you would realize that it did make you stronger. It did show you something which you didn't necessarily like about you. It did disclose, it did reveal to you something which, by repairing, made your life better, made yourself better. And in doing so, has enriched who you are and how you can contribute to those around you. That will be for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again very soon. Love and peace to you all.